Hi there. Hello again, and welcome to another OTCR review, off the cuff review, with me, Jules Brown. And it's a Friday. And what do we do on Fridays? That's right, we review Prince. Today I'm going to review his debut album, which was called For You, and it was released in April 1978. Most of the recording was done towards the end of '77, and bearing in mind that Prince was still only 19 years old throughout this process. I think he was became 20 in his birthday in June of '58. Was born, so he became 20 years old in soon after this album was released. Basically, Prince does everything on this album, everything except there's an uncredited synth part apparently in the song "Baby," which is done by somebody called Patrice Rushen, in fact. Get my notes sorted out. That wasn't very off the cuff either, was it? I had to do some research on that. So yeah, back to the review. It can be split up into three parts, the album, really. You've got your ballady, quite mushy tracks, which deploy Prince's falsetto voice to the hilt. Then you've got the sort of more middle tempo, funky little numbers like Soft and Wet and My Love Is Forever. And then you've got the all-out unadulterated rock of the last track on the album called I'm Yours. And that sort of is the flavour of the album, really. It starts off with an instrumental part where Prince deploys lots of his voices over double-tracked, multi-tracked, and the rest of the album follows suit. It's I think it's quite a relatively strong debut, although you could argue that especially the ballady numbers, you can tell that later on towards the early '80s and early to mid '80s, I think generally the Prince songs got a bit stronger than a lot of these songs on For You. But he was only 19 years old, and Soft and Wet is one of my favourite singles, Prince singles, and that was on this very album. So it does have some standout tracks, and that being one of them. There's some nice guitar work in My Love Is Forever, where he gets to display his multifaceted ability to play different styles of guitar playing, his versatility, and a very decent album. I'm a bit of a fan of I'm Yours, the closing track, which he gets to shred a bit and rock out, and that's a good little number. But as a whole, it's maybe it doesn't hang together too well because of this three different parts to it, and I think he evolves over the next few albums. Perhaps probably arguably peaks around album number 4. So he's only on album number 1 here, and it shows that he's just starting out, but he's still got control. And even though the executive producer, Tommy Vicari, is on board, I think Prince was basically saying, right, I want to do it my way, and he ended up doing it his way, and this is the finished product. It's got a lot of instruments of the time in there. So he uses the Oberheim, and it's an early version. I don't really know much about these technical instruments, but it's a polyphonic synthesizer, and it's quite an early version of it. So he uses that throughout the album, and a Poly Moog, and something called an ARP as well, ARP. So a lot of these instruments, I think, were phased out by the early 80s, and other technology was moving on, and other synthesizers came along, pushed these ones out. But so that's why it's maybe sounds a little bit dated because of that. But I'm going to give the album For You by Prince, I think I'm going to give it a solid 6 out of 10. And yeah, and thank you for listening. I hope you have a good Friday evening. If you want to subscribe, go to the subscribe icon somewhere down there and push that subscribe icon, and make a comment if you like, and it'd be nice to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and have a nice weekend wherever you are.